YouTube.com/spaced out radio. You can watch the comments there. But remember, we're in about a 22-second delay, okay?
Yeah.
YouTube, what is happening? It is Friday night for us. All of us lonely hearts gathering here in the chat room because we know Bigfoot is more romantic than any online dating system that is out there. How y'all doing? I'm little Davy Scott, hanging on out. And we are going to have one hell of a show tonight as we're going to be talking Bigfoot from Sasquatch, Ontario, Mike Paterson. He's joining us for the first time, and we're going to learn what is happening in Canada's biggest province when it comes to the big, hairy, missing link, the wild man, everything that goes on. All right, let's give a shout out to everybody who is here so far. Matthew Anderson, good to have you here. Philip Matlock, the Philip Matlock, everybody. We have Crystal Light. Thank you for coming on in, my gorgeous friend. Nathan, you're looking beautiful tonight down in Washington State. Millennium, good to have you here. Renee in New Zealand, 2 nights in a row. Good to have you back, sweetheart. I love you. Nuck, one day closer to hockey playoffs, man. Middle child, little Marky Spender, whose daughter babysat my son tonight before the show, which is awesome. That's why I'm running a little bit late. Lord of Land, good to have you back. Rick Hilke, welcome to Spaced Out Radio. Thank you for joining us in our chat room. And who else do we got here? We got Kingslayer, Kristen Alberg, the beautiful and luscious Kristen Alberg. Patrick Noble is here, everyone. Give him a hand because he's quite noble. Ghost 66, he's ready to haunt you. Barther L. and the Third Nipple Crew are here, everybody. Look at that. Barther L. and the Third Nipple Crew. Isn't that nice? Lufon, good to have you back, my friend. Bigfoot, Michigan Rob, are we on in the bar tonight? Let me know, because I want to know if your backroom gathering for Spaced Out Radio alcoholics is going to be up and running. That would be kind of cool. Treehouse, good to have you back. You haven't been around in about a week and a half. Good to see you. Chemical Summer, Jim Christie, thank you for coming on in. And who else we got here? I think we're caught up so far. Oh, there's the gorgeous Jen. Jen, you're looking stunning tonight. Stunning. Look at you. Look at you. Anyways, Mike Paterson is here. Mike, how you doing, man?
I'm good, Dave. Thanks for having me on.
I tell you, man, we are 3 minutes or 2.5, about 3 minutes away from going. I'm already sweating in here, man. I thought I'd wear my jacket tonight. And, no, let's just burn Dave up here. What the hell? Oh, my God, it's hot in here. All right. Let's see who else has come in here. Mr. the man known as Triple M. He is here. And we have Midnight Toker. Welcome to the Spaced Out Radio chat room. Hope you enjoy the night. Donnie C., good to have you here. The Bee's Nest Movies, thanks for coming on in. Appreciate you. And, we're good, man. Bigfoot all night. Yeah, we're going Sasquatch. The hair is looking good. This is the last time we will do a show with my hair the way it is. That's not sad. That's not being sad. It's going to a good place. It's going to be having a good home. Hey, BBR. How you doing, man? All right. So we're about 2 minutes away, Mike. 2 minutes away. And then I will read an intro to the show, intro to you, and then we're off and running. It's going to be fun. I'm on Powerade tonight, too. So going to have a little bit of a extra little bump here in energy. All right, let's start this one feed. All right. First feed is started. And 12 degrees is sweating weather there, Barther. All right. Oh, Mr. You made more Nanaimo bars and you didn't even bring enough to share them with the room. What a jerk. Hey, Bill WD-40. How you doing, man? Zenzabil, good to have you here. All right, we're about 45 seconds away. Super Chat is open tonight, and a great way to support what we do is give us a thumbs up or down, as well as hit that subscribe button. And you can do a little support on our website by joining our Space Travelers Club for $5 a month, as well as do a little shopping at our SOR vault, pick up some swag, and show us what you can do with it. That would be absolutely awesome. Everyone, here we go. We're going to have an amazing show tonight. And we are on in 8 seconds. I'm excited. Dave Edridge, good to have you here, man. I haven't got a map yet, but I'm probably going to go get one this weekend. Thank you for the reminder. Music is on. Mr. Apnea, good to see you. Dark Hour, welcome back. TMI, thank you. Spookles the Cat, thank you for coming on in. You're gorgeous. And Dick Daigle is here, everybody. The first overall pick in the NHL draft in 1993. Dick Daigle. Here we go. Let's have a good one. From the top of the mountains of central British Columbia to you listening around the world, this, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. We welcome you to tonight's show on our terrestrial affiliates across North America and digitally on TalkStream Live and Revolution Radio. If you want to take a listen to our archives, we have them free for you at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Tonight's show is brought to you by Chive Charities. Help make the world 10% happier by visiting Chive Charities today. You can find them on our website. Sasquatch Ontario is about a hidden truth, one that has shown up in Mike Paterson's life in a huge way. It's a truth that has the capacity to evolve human consciousness individually and on a collective scale. Sasquatch truth has the capacity to shape our world through the expansion of human consciousness in a mind-body-spirit alignment of truth. Mike's personal journey started back in 2008 when he was in the woods, just photography, taking photographs of wildlife and nature. It was his passion back then. But now, the forests are for finding Bigfoot. Then at the bottom of hour number 3, I will bring you the SOR Newswire, brought to you by Paranoia Magazine. Mr. Mike Paterson, thank you for sharing your evening with us. How are you?
I'm good, Dave. I appreciate you having me on here. It's fun to be here and to get into this and talk about this subject.
You never go wrong with a little bit of Sasquatch, my friend. You never do. It's one of those things that we enjoy on a Friday night. That is for sure. I got to ask you, my friend, before you got into this, what did you believe in Sasquatch?
I always had a belief in it, as a kid, because I was aware of the Paterson Gimlin footage way back when. So it's been in my mind throughout my existence, basically, and it started early on in my life too. So,
really, so when you saw the Paterson Gimlin film way back when, how did you react to that? Were you like, oh man, like as a kid, like I was, you thought this was just really cool. Like, look at this big monster that's walking around the forests of North America. I mean, it was exciting when I first saw that. How about for you?
Yeah, I think, for many people, it's always something that's really been fascinating, right? To see something like that, to have that possibility that this is real and it exists. So.
Well, when you went through that and you started thinking that this could be some reality, I mean, you didn't go for it right away. Did you have any other type of experiences that kind of led you down this path, or was it just the thought that it just might be out there?
This actually started for me way back when I was about 10 years old. I had a sighting up in Denbigh, Ontario. At that time, I brushed it off as a bear. I told my family I got chased by a bear, but once I got involved in this subject back starting in 2008 and things have evolved, I've been able to look back in my life and see that incident was, something very significant back then. In fact, I think at that time, it may have been done purposely, considering my experiences to date.
Oh, you got to go through that incident with us. What happened?
We were staying at this place called the Swiss Inn, which it's about, I think it's about 3.5, 4 hours northeast of Toronto. And we were staying at this chalet sort of thing for a weekend. It was my family there, and my dad had dropped me off down the road to go do some fishing. There was a creek there, and there was a campground with people camped there and that. So I was doing a bit of fishing, and it got to about dusk. So I started walking back down the road. Back then, too, your parents could leave you without any trouble of being charged with child abandonment. So
no, remember those days?
I started. Yeah, I still remember them.
Oh yeah.
So by myself, I started walking up back towards the chalet, and
right.
And there was this Sasquatch standing at the side of the road, and I saw this. I estimate maybe it was about 50 yards up the road, 50 to 100 in that range somewhere, and I went into shock basically, and I ended up running back to this campground. And I remember there was a family sitting around this campfire, and I walked up to them, and I was pale as a ghost. I couldn't talk. I couldn't get any words out. And I still remember, even back then, I remember the looks on their faces. I just had this traumatic moment. So they could see something was going on there. I ended up finally getting the word help out, and I got a ride back from a gentleman that was sitting with the family, and I told him I got chased by a bear, right? So they took me. He took me back to the chalet, and on the way back, I pointed out roughly the area where this happened, and he dropped me off. And when I went back into the chalet, I was still white as a ghost. My family knew something had happened there, and that stuck with me my whole life, until now. And I still remember that incident. So it was something that really stuck with me. And then to date, all this other stuff has happened. It's just been absolutely mind blowing in the last dozen years where this has all led to.
Mike, I got to ask you, because you mentioned at first you thought it was a bear. And then all of a sudden, when you started researching Sasquatch years later, you've changed your opinion on that. What led to that change of opinion?
Dealing with people throughout the years in this subject, I've realized that a lot of people will use that same description, a bear. And I remember my first incident back in 2008. It was October 25th at 4:30 in the afternoon when I heard one of them vocalize very close for the first time. And it really affects your psyche and your ability to comprehend what's going on. And even though when that incident happened, I knew exactly what it was, I still spent about the next 2 weeks in denial that,
right.
This was a Sasquatch, even though I knew it was a Sasquatch. So our minds, we're programmed basically to not accept that this is real. So I think bear is something that is easy for people to, it's just a natural kind of reaction.
And I can understand that, because at 10 years old when this happened, you're not going to think of Sasquatch. You're going to just know that there was something big and hairy, 50 yards away from you, and you had to get the heck out of there because it scared you. That's what you're going to think.
Definitely scared the hell out of me.
I can see that. I can totally see that. And what's amazing about that is, I'm sure to this day it is extremely vivid, and without going into too much imagination, what happened when you made eye contact with this creature? Was it looking at you? Was it just on its way into the forest? What was happening?
Well, when I saw it, it was just standing there. As soon as I saw it, it turned and just disappeared into the woods at the side of the road there. So it wasn't a long sighting or anything. Like as soon as I saw it, and it knew I saw it just took off, and that was it.
That almost sounds like it didn't want to scare you, so it got out of the hair. Because obviously it's not going to be intimidated by you being a child.
No, not at all.
See, that's what amazes me about a lot of these sightings is it's almost like, doesn't matter whether you're a child or whether you're an adult, it's almost like this creature, whatever it may be, doesn't want anything to do with you. I'm not saying you specifically, but you as people listening and everybody out there who's had an encounter, I've been within 100 feet of two of them, and they did not want us there, and they left. I watched them one at least walk away, and it's intimidating. It's scary because you feel really, really small, and I could just imagine how big this thing looked compared to you being 10 years old at that time.
Yeah, it was, like I said, it was a bit down the road. So the size was hard to judge. And this was a long time ago, right? It had that traumatic effect on me. That's basically, the end result of it all. So it scared the hell out of me. And yeah, it was definitely big.
What did your parents say when you told them?
Well, I gave the bear story, right? And I remember at the time too, the owner of the chalet had mentioned something about no bears being in the area, but I actually drove past there not too long ago and thought, no, that's totally bear country there. So I don't know what the hell he was saying with no bears being in that region, because there definitely would be bears, moose, all that sort of thing.
Wow.
I never explained to my family, obviously, that it was Sasquatch at the time. It didn't play in my mind. It was just a traumatic event. So I played off as a bear, and that was it. And they just knew I experienced something that scared the hell out of me because I was pale white.
And, my question to you is, so fast forward to all of a sudden you in 2008 decide, hey, I'm going to start investigating this. What did your family say about you all of a sudden wandering in the woods looking for this big hairy creature?
Like you mentioned at the beginning, I was spending time in the woods doing nature, wildlife photography. I bought some good camera gear, and it was a passion of mine just to go searching for wildlife and that. I love interacting with wildlife, trying to get as close as I can and just to get those really good photographs. And then one day I had an epiphany to start searching for Sasquatch. And at this point, I look back at that and wonder where that epiphany came from, considering what I have experienced. At this point, I believe that thought might have even been planted. And when I started, when I had my first encounter, and I told my family and friends, it's a bit of a head scratcher. So it's hard for people to digest and accept. And until I started showing them the footprints that I started documenting, and then they were convinced. So it took a little bit, but that initial saying that I just heard a Sasquatch vocalize, it's difficult to accept unless you experience it personally.
All right, I want to go back to 2008 here, where you decided, you know what, I'm a wilderness guy. I know what I know what the forests are like. I know how to stay safe. I'm going to start looking for Sasquatch. How did you start in this? Because that question comes up a lot within this community of people who want to know how to get started.
I started researching, spending time on forums, looking at YouTube videos, and at one point I'd made a comment on a YouTube video, and somebody contacted me and had asked me, "Hey, you want to go into an area of previous activity?" Because I was not too far from where they lived. So I think it was about a month later or something. After a couple discussions, this guy gets back in touch with me and says, "You want to do this?" So I said, "Okay, let's do it." So I think it was the next weekend I finally met up with them, and he took me to this area, and I was really skeptical, especially where we went. The last thing I thought was, yeah, okay, we're going to run into a Sasquatch in here. I don't, I was open-minded. I've always kept an open mind, but it was very difficult to accept that the area we went into until I heard one vocalize. And it was that first time that I went out, and it was about 4.5 hours later that this incident happened. And it just blew my mind and flipped my world upside down, and I've never looked back since.
So when you decided that you wanted to start looking at some YouTube videos, try and figure out how to do this, what to look for, you being a guy who's used to photographing images in the wild, whether it's animals or fauna or flora or whatever it may be, how did you know what to look for? What did you find?
The person I initially got involved with, I spent about 5 years. His name was Mike too, actually. I spent about 5 years going into different locations, and he had previous experience throughout his life, living up in northern Ontario. He had incidents growing up as a kid, so he had some experience, and he basically showed me the ropes, with the tree wood knocking and all that stuff, and what to look and listen for, and we had quite a few incidents throughout those 5 years in different locations. Trees being pushed over close to us, or finding footprints, or hearing vocalizations, that sort of thing. Visits to camp where there's strange stuff going on, but at that time, he was more of a, just basically flesh and blood, right? And I in the time that I've spent after those 5 years, when I kind of verged off on my own, I've learned a lot more regarding their existence, and there's a lot more going on with Sasquatch than just some flesh and blood creature. Like, you get organizations like the BFRO, and they're strictly flesh and blood, right? But there is much more going on with Sasquatch that I've been witness to, and upwards at this point. I'd say I've probably had about 1,000 in ongoing contact, interactions, and incidents in the last 7 years.
That is absolutely awesome. And we're going to learn a lot about that tonight, because I think you and I are on the same page when it comes to this creature. There is something special and supernatural about it. What that actually is, I have no idea. But I don't think that it's fair to just call it a blood-running humanoid or something along those lines. I don't think that at all. A lot of people, though, when they get into the field, you mentioned that you thought it was flesh and blood at first. What made you change your mind?
Well, like I said, I've always kept an open mind. I had no idea when I first got into this. So I just went with the flow, just rolled with it, and it was after about 4 years that first area that I went into. I went back the second week, or the very next weekend, and I had another experience, and that was the first time I had my mind affected, and it was only the second incident, really. And I had an incident where, the very first week, or the previous week, I heard this chest thump thing that it sounded like a gorilla chest thump, right? And it was the next week that I went in, and I'd heard this exact same sound, and I knew it was something was off. So I had my camera, video camera, binoculars. I had all this gear on me. I was by myself that second week, and it was really close when I heard this chest thump tone that I heard the first time, that was accompanied with the vocalization. And the second time this happened, next thing I knew, I was halfway home and driving in my car, and not knowing how I got there. Basically, I was walking in the woods. Next thing, I'm driving in my car halfway home and wondering what the hell just happened.
You got some aliens.
Shaking my
there.
head.
You got some aliens there, man.
Yeah. Well, there's definitely a lot of strangeness that comes with their presence and contact, and something that I've been witness to extensively at this point, for sure.
Well, we're going to get into that because that's kind of heavy. And there is a lot of people out there who believe there is some sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? Tie-in or tie between UFOs and Sasquatch as well. And I think that we definitely need to go down that road a little bit more, but did you ever study First Nations points of view when it came to this creature?
Yeah, I've it's something that I've looked into a bit throughout the years. I know that the native culture believed them to be a spirit being, one that basically walks between two worlds, a shapeshifter, that sort of thing. So yeah, the native culture has those beliefs, those knowings.
Mm-hmm.
Something that I'm also privy to at this point.
That's the tough part, is trying to find that balance in between of what this creature is comparatively to what the legends are. How do you find that balance? Or have you even tried? Have you figured it out yet?
Yeah, the amount of contact experience I've had at this point, I've been given. I've been blessed with a lot of contact. So I've had visits at home. I've witnessed a lot of activity, both indoors and out. Sasquatch contact and their activity is basically paranormal for the mass majority of it.
I can.
It's also,
Go ahead.
Sorry, this is something that's been it's been largely ignored and shunned by the Bigfoot community. They refuse to acknowledge this fact, but at this point, and in the first years that I was involved in this subject, this wasn't really talked about much. And at this point, I've seen this subject flip completely upside down, and a lot more people are accepting this and starting to experience these sorts of phenomena that comes with their presence. So it is growing, and people are opening up to this.
Well, you know what? I'm glad to hear how open-minded you are about this subject, Mike, because I think that one of the biggest things that kills any type of research is the narrow-mindedness that a lot of people and a lot of groups have, because they so need to be that skeptical group. You know what I'm saying? We can't believe anything, even though it happens right in front of our eyes. But it didn't happen because we have to be skeptical. And there's too much of that. There really is. Mike, I'm going to get you to hold on right here because we're going to go to break at the bottom of the hour. Mike Paterson, Sasquatch, Ontario. We're having some fun talking Bigfoot tonight. What is this creature? Is it a blood-living hominid? Is it supernatural? Let's get into it next on Spaced Out Radio. Oh my God. Like literally right before we went on the air, I was walking around my house, and I guess there was a mosquito in there, and it flew right into my mouth while I was on the phone. And so that entire half an hour when I was coughing there, I was trying to get rid of this mosquito that I thought was down my throat, but apparently it was not. Oh, screws me right up.
Some bubbles.
All right. Hi, Diane Essex from Las Vegas, my favorite city in the world. How are you? Thank you for coming on into our chat room. Long Island Bigfoot, good to have you here. How the hell can there be Bigfoot on Long Island? Seriously. How can there be? You got Montauk monsters, man. You can't have it all. Heaven-bound daughter, thank you for coming on in for the first time. Appreciate you in our chat room. Well, let's see here. Let's see here. Little Deborah. Hi, Little Deborah. How we doing? Nope. My hands are dry. Yes, I use hand lotion, people. That was a quick half hour. Is that your wife in the background, Mike?
Not yet.
Not. And who is that in the background? What's your name?
Hi, I'm Jen.
Hi, Jen. I'm Dave.
Dave, nice to hear your voice and see your face.
Yeah, I know. It's a complete face for radio. I know. You know, and I apologize that you gotta look at it. I really do.
I'll tell you later on our next break about my couple of Sasquatch things since I met this fella.
Nice.
They're watching me now.
It's kind of fun, isn't it? I still think you got aliens. You get missing time, you got the aliens, man. You totally got the aliens.
Yeah. Well, there's been UFO incidents involved in this as well. So.
Oh, nice. Oh, now we're talking my language. Now we're talking my language.
Mike is a flora and fauna empath. He's a green thumb and he connects with animals amazingly. So
nice.
Makes sense.
Nice. No, I'm not using Pond's lotion there, Zenzabil. I am using Vaseline Intensive Care Vast Repair for dry hands. That's what I'm using. Everybody's such a critic. Barther, that hand lotion is right beside his porn watching computer. There is no porn watching computer in the studio here. None.
All computers are porn watching computers.
Wow. That's your lady, Mike. That's your lady. I want to drink beers with you guys now.
Hey, we have a good time.
That's awesome. Where are you located?
Just north of Toronto.
Oh, yeah. Are you a Leafs fan? Because I do. If you are, I got to give Corey, my booking guy, shit for that.
At this point, Dave, I'd rather pick up a guitar or a camera. I really don't care about sports at this point. So
I knew I met the man of my dreams when he'd rather go for a walk in the woods than watch a hockey game.
Oh my God! How many DVDs of fried green tomatoes do you have? Oh my goodness!
0.
Thank Christ. All right. Barry S., good to have you here. Dick Daigle, former Ottawa Senators' first overall pick, likes his kokanee. 1993. What happened to your career, Dick Daigle? Uh-huh.
We loved the Ottawa Senators when Dick Daigle were on them.
Oh, I like making fun of my listeners sometimes. Yeah, there's a bunch of Canadians in here. Hey, redheaded Lisa, how you doing? This is the last time you'll see my hair on me. Yes, because soon you will be wearing it. Redheaded Lisa is, I'm actually donating my hair to her because she is about to go through chemotherapy again. So I'm donating my hair to her and I'm getting it cut on Monday and shipping it, or Sunday, and then shipping it down to Arizona for her to have it.
Are you dyeing it red first?
No.
Well, okay.
Michael W.
Lisa, you're gonna have to change your
only on
handle.
spacedoutradio.com.
I know. Here we go. Music's about to come on. The Stu Gerson is here, everybody. We can officially start the show with Stu Gerson in the chat room. Welcome back to the second half hour of Spaced Out Radio. Tonight, I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. We want to remind you that if you missed portions of this show or others, you could check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Yes, our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. Tonight we are talking Bigfoot, Sasquatch, out of the province of Ontario, just north of Toronto. Thank goodness he is not a Leafs fan, because this Canucks and Oilers fan is about to get rowdy for the playoffs coming up. But we're talking Sasquatch, not hockey tonight, with Mike Paterson. Mike, welcome back.
Thanks, Dave.
What kind of guitar do you have, Mike?
Well, I have my favorite is my SG, and
nice.
I have I got a few guitars. So
now I got to ask you about your guitars here for a second, because I have like 8 guitars in my house. Okay, that's 7 more guitars than I know chords. Okay, all right, but I don't really care. Like, if you look over my shoulder here, if you're watching on YouTube, I got my daughter's beautiful Jackson guitar right here. Are you a reverse headstock kind of guy? Because I am not. I think they're ugly. What's your opinion on the reverse headstock on a guitar?
I have a Studio Firebird, and the headstock is the right way. It's not the reverse like the regular Firebirds. So I'm a southpaw too, so it's hard for me to find a really good guitar price, right?
Nice.
But no, I'm not a fan of reverse headstocks. I like a normal.
Thank you. I knew there was something about you that I liked. I appreciate that. Not only do we think the same way of Bigfoot, but you don't like the reverse headstocks, and that just makes me feel really good. Really good. All right, let's talk some Bigfoot here. All right, because you tend to believe that there is something a little different about this creature. Let's go down the road on what made you all of a sudden change your mind from flesh and blood to supernatural.
Well, after about 4 years getting involved, and at this point, this isn't a belief for me. This is a knowing through many experiences that are ongoing. And to me, what I've learned is it's not the location, it's the person. I've been followed around over the years. It doesn't matter where I am. They show up, and I've had activity in the most unlikeliest of places, including inside my vehicle several times, where strange paranormal incidents have happened. And so I started, it was after about 4 years experience, I got some information that landed in my lap, and I got invited out to an area out Kawartha Lakes region up here in central Ontario. And I invited to a private property to investigate purported Sasquatch activity that was going on. And it was the first night that I spent there. I knew they had activity going on, so I started working. Well, I started making visits initially with the guy I was involved with at first, and I'd gotten permission from the property owner at the time to go pitch my tent. Basically, whenever I want, I could visit the property. I didn't have to. They didn't have to be there. I could just go at my, whenever I wanted. So that lasted for, I guess, it wasn't very long. And then I started working with the property owner's son at the time. And that property owner, the father, he's since passed away. and his son owns the cottage now. It's a family cottage, and I've been working with him for the past 7 years, documenting the activity. And like I said previously, we've had probably upwards of about 1,000 experiences to date, and there's been as much activity happen inside as out. And there's been so much of it. It's just mind blowing. It's at a point where there's been many incidents of physical contact, pats on the head and pokes, and you're just standing outside and suddenly you get this hand touch you on the shoulder or whatever it is, and they're standing right there. There's been orb activity that has accompanied this. There's been all kinds of a lot of strange phenomena, like electronic devices being manipulated, photographs being imposed on camera devices and video, and even our phones manipulated. I'm at a point where I'm even asking questions and getting written answers. That started off with drawings that has now evolved into where I just ask a question out loud. I leave a sketch pad and a chalkboard on the kitchen table, and we go outside and come back in, and there's a written answer. And this is something that's occurred many times at this point, right? So it's gotten to a point where the trust has built, and they've really shown their presence in a huge way. I've had marbles dropped right into my hand or if I have I've had a glass in my hand and suddenly I hear tink and there's a marble in my glass. So there's a lot of objects that have been appearing out of thin air, and there's been witnesses to this too. Chris Munch, who he's director, filmmaker, made the movie Letters from the Big Man. I've had I have another area that I visit up there where I've brought in friends and family, and there's been experiences gone on there. So there's been telepathy, mind speak incidents, strange light phenomena. As I mentioned, there's been UFO incidents. So a whole gamma of high strangeness that comes with Sasquatch presence.
Mike, when you are having these experiences and people are around and you're pretty much pulling a Babe Ruth here and calling your shot, what's people's reactions when this happens?
When this first started happening, it took me about a year to come out and really speak about what was really going on, because I knew as soon as I did, I was just going to take a lot of ridicule, basically. And sure enough, of course, that's what happened, because speaking something that goes against the grain, something that goes against everything we've been taught. So when I first started speaking about this, and I started putting out stuff that was that I knew would bring me ridicule, like the one photograph of this crazy blonde-haired individual. There's you can't see any face in the shot, but there's wood paneling in the background. And I remember Dwayne, the cottage guy, cottage owner, he said, "You're going to put that out? You're going to take a lot of heat for that." I said, "Yeah, I know, but it's truth. It's real, so I don't care." And I've had that mentality throughout this entire thing, that I know I'm going to take a lot of crap for it, but it's real and it's truth, and that's all I've spoken throughout. There's zero embellishment throughout this entire thing. One does not need to embellish Sasquatch activity, because it's out there enough. So it's crazy stuff.
A lot of people, when they start hearing stories like this, they get a little critical. They don't want to believe. They think it's impossible. They don't think that one person could have all of these types of experiences. Why haven't you taken any photos? You've probably heard all the questions for you. Why do you do things the way you do? If you're having so much success with the interaction with Sasquatch and potentially other beings, do you not have time to photograph it because they are such fleeting incidents? Or has it just been you have been much like me when I've had my experiences, so in awe and enamored from what is happening that you accidentally forget to even bring your camera out because you're just enjoying the moment?
I have all my equipment. I bring it with me. Their intelligence is through the roof. So I'm about gaining trust, and we're dealing with interdimensional beings. Sasquatch are an ancient people who can materialize and dematerialize at will anywhere, it seems, from my experience and from what I've learned and been witness to. So there's their activity. Like I said, there's been a lot of physical contact, and this is the part that shows me their invisibility. The visits at home, that's the part that shows me their interdimensional aspect. When I have one knocking on my table here in front of me in my living room, I know that they're interdimensional. They can move through walls, and their abilities are astounding. This shatters our current paradigm. This just changes everything. The truth of Sasquatch changes everything, right? And this goes against the grain. And the way we've been conditioned to believe, this is very difficult for humans to accept. And I'm fully convinced this is covered up because there is a larger connection going on here with the UFOs. And anybody that's open-minded and knows that this has obviously been covered up over decades as well, right? So this whole Sasquatch thing is all part of that, and in my opinion, it's part of a major cover-up. But it's all starting to come to the forefront. So I don't think it's going to be much longer before something really big happens that really exposes them in a big way. And from my understanding, they are in the midst of exposing their people to us. This is not a discovery. This is a reveal. They are making contact with more and more people around the world, especially throughout North America. And the way I've seen their interactions and their activity, it's a baby step process. I don't think they want to overwhelm us because they know the effect this has on humans, and they don't really want to scare us. Although there are some that I think they don't like humans, and there's a lot of people that have had incidents that are very scary, and some people will call them attacks, and their behavior can be misinterpreted, very boisterous. And anyways, it's out there, Dave. Their activity is way there.
But, a lot of what you're saying, and I'm not denying that you are having these incredible experiences, and because I know personally what it's like to have a bunch of experiences that just kind of fall on your shoulders, and you don't know how else to explain them but to tell the truth. And I'm going to be here, and I'm going to be honest with you, and I'm going to tell you, I believe you because it's happened to me. Okay? And so I'm going to be on your side. We're going to be teammates on this. Okay? But from what I'm hearing is a lot of these situations that you were having, they sound so paranormal and not so Sasquatch-like from what I hear or see. So how are you convinced that this is some Bigfoot that is, invisibly walking around your house, or climbing into your car when you're there, or knocking on walls, or handing you the soap in the shower? I don't know. How do you know it's Bigfoot and not some paranormal ghost-like activity?
throughout this journey, I've had to move several times. At one point, I lived in Brampton, Ontario, and I rented off a good friend of mine that I've known for probably several decades at this point. And he was a real skeptic when I moved in. I told him, his name's Kyle, and I said, there's a really good possibility things are going to start happening here. And he's a laid back guy, very lighthearted, and it didn't take long before. I think it was just a few short weeks before things started happening. By the time I'd left there, Kyle had been witness to footprints left in his yard. He'd had physical contact. He'd had mind speak, and he even had a visual walk across the room in front of him, floor to ceiling. As far as knowing that it's Sasquatch, I've documented hundreds of their footprints from multiple family members, pulled hair from those prints. There's been visuals, especially Dwayne's family. I got invited in there after his father had a sighting right outside the cottage window when they showed themselves to him. And there's his friend had photographed, I believe it was the father, which would have been, I think it was February 9th, 2013. He was maybe 150, couple hundred feet at the most from the cottage where Dwayne and myself were on another part of the property when this happened, and he appeared. He stood about between 11 and 12 feet tall. He's got a 20-inch footprint, and he was photographed through the cottage window, and she went to step outside to get a better shot, and that's only a few short steps. There's no leaves on the trees. This was in the winter. And when she stepped outside, he was gone. He basically, disappeared. So throughout the years, there's when it comes to contact, ongoing contact, you just know that it's them because it's very consistent. Their activity is it's the same. It's consistent. This baby step process, and it's an evolvement of constantly showing you new things. They're great teachers. This is what they seem to be doing is a constant teaching. So, as I mentioned, there's been visuals too, right?
All right. So,
it's a no-brainer.
Well, and like I said, I think there is something very, very supernatural about this creature. And so if you are convinced that this is what's happening to you, why did you think it's you? What are you doing differently, or why are you attracting these Sasquatch around you?
I've had this experience where they've basically shown me that they are exposing their people that soon your people will know, I was told. And I believe they want us to share our experiences. And there's something about my character that they see something in me that they gave me and continue to give me these experiences because I speak about them without fear, without all the ridicule that comes with this, all the crap I've had to go through. I'm still here. I'm not going away. And they want, from my experience, they want this talked about because they are exposing their people to us. So I think they gave it to me because I have the backbone. I have the balls to stand up and speak out. And my heart is pure. My intentions are pure. This is about a big truth, and I have what it takes to put it out there. I don't know if that's why. There's something about my character, obviously, they like, so they keep showing up.
But do you think this is a lifelong contact, or do you think that you inherited this?
At this point, I question if this is did this start when I was young, and has this been ongoing, or did it start when I was young and they waited till I was older before they showed up again, or have they always been watching me? Even at this point, is it predetermined, before even coming into this existence? I don't know, Dave. I don't know.
How do you feel?
They're just questions that I have. I feel that my perception of reality, because of all these experiences, is different, I think, than a lot of people. I just have this knowing of a multi-dimensional existence with other beings that are reaching out to humans, making contact with them. They've always been there. So at this point, it's quite possible that this is predetermined. But I don't know. I'm just speculating, right?
Well, I mean, that's all it is right now and that's all we can really do is speculation on this entire subject. We don't have a body. We have nothing scientific to really study. We are going by, minimal amounts of trace evidence through footprints and maybe a handprint or some hair. And I know my good friend Barther loves the word scat, so I'm going to use that as well. And, we hang out and we toss all of these theories and stories around, and that's all we have right now. So my question to you is this, as we've got about 2 minutes to go here before we got to go to break at the top of the hour. What do you think the possibilities there are of two different types of species? Maybe one that is a flesh and blood and one that maybe comes from some unknown background?
My understanding is they have these abilities, and I tend to think they're developed, although I also believe that there's inherent qualities, but maybe some of them have to develop abilities to a certain level. I believe they're all telepathic. Can they all dematerialize? I don't know. It doesn't seem that way, but considering the lack of when people witness them, it's really difficult to understand if they all have the same abilities, right? But to me, it seems they do, from people that I've dealt with throughout the world, because I have dealt with many people. The Yowie in Australia, I've spoken to people, and they seem to have those same abilities down there. So it's hard to say if they all have that, but I do believe they are developed.
It is interesting.
Maybe some have more.
It's just amazing, though, how many people talk, as we got about 40 seconds here, how many people talk about the telepathy of it all.
Yeah, I've had numerous mind speak experiences with them. The first time was a grunt in my head, and it was so loud. I was half asleep on the couch, and it shot me to my feet instantly. It was crazy.
Do you think, I'm going to save this question. And the question that I was going to ask is, do you think that they call on you to come outside or to go to certain areas? And I'll explain that when we get back from the break, okay? Because I think it's an important question to ask. Mike Paterson is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio. Sasquatch Ontario is his website, if you throw a .com on there. So make sure you check that on out. We're going to get into some serious Sasquatch stories when we come back. And, of course, your questions if you were in one of our chat rooms or on Twitter as well. So buckle up. We got 90 minutes more of Sasquatch. Then we're going to get to the SOR Newswire and the Thought of the Dave in the back end of hour number 3. Lots of Spaced Out Radio still left tonight. Stay tuned. All right. Sorry, I just want to write this down. I'm just going to quickly run my dogs outside. I'll be right back. Hey, Angelo, welcome back, man. Welcome back. I'll be right back. Okay, dude?
All right, man.
Okay.
We are scouring the world for the most intriguing stories of your day.
Take the time to read up on the SOR Newswire, where our team, led by Captain Shirk, will deliver to you some of the best paranormal and supernatural news, along with some stories that will blow your mind from the weird to the wacky. It's the news outside the news that piques interest, and that's what we're looking to deliver to you. The SOR Newswire, only at spacedoutradio.com.
I'm feeling a little spicy tonight. What to do? What to do?
Why not get Bumblefuck?
4 million Scoville units of pure hard rock. Bumblefoot hot sauces come in 3 flavors. The burning Bumble. Tone it down a bit with Bumblicious and throw the sauce on everything.
Spicing up. Bumble me, baby. Bumblefoot hot sauce. Get it today at kajans.com.
Hi there, this is the paranormal lawyer Michael W. Hall. I'd like to invite you to listen in each Sunday night where we're going to open up your eyes to everything strange and paranormal. I will be hosting some great guests with topics that affect us all, such as UFOs, ghosts, and everything paranormal. Let's learn together on Spaced Out Radio Sunday with myself, Michael W. Hall, the paranormal lawyer at spacedoutradio.com.
Get your horns up with me on Spaced Out Radio. This is Ron Bumblefoot Thal. Come tune in to SOR where you can hear me rock out with Little Brother Is Watching, the official theme song of Spaced Out Radio. And then come on over to bumblefoot.com where you can find out about my tour schedule, my music, and everything else. Bumblefoot.com keeps you up to date on what I'm doing and the best way to stay in touch with my music and music camps. Sign up for my newsletter at bumblefoot.com and remember, Little Brother Is Watching.
We all know on Spaced Out Radio we love a good beard and mustache, so why not take care of your facial hair with Mighty Moose Beard Oil? Made in Canada, we're taking care of beards and stashes around the world. We use 100% natural ingredients with our oils and balms to make your whiskers feel silky smooth. Use promo code SOR2019 at mightymoosebeard.com today.
Hello, space travelers. It's me again, Carl. Don't forget to join the Space Travelers Club for just $5 a month and follow Spaced Out Radio on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. Our Instagram, Dave Scott SOR. Our Facebook page is Spaced Out Radio Show. Our archives are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Come woo it up with Spaced Out Radio today. Bye.
Are you an experiencer of something strange that can't be explained? Do you want help finding out what's going on? I'm Ryan Stacy, head of the Experiencer Support Association, otherwise known as TESSA. We've teamed up with Spaced Out Radio to investigate cases filled out in the SOR Sightlines report. We are independent and there's no cost to what we do. All we need is your experience. Let's find out what's happening together on the SOR Sightlines report.
The SOR Vault is open for business, and do we have some cool swag for you to pick up? All you have to do is head over to our website and click on the SOR Vault. You have a variety of cool logos to choose from, and put them on anything you want. T-shirts, hoodies, hats, coffee mugs, you name it, we can get it to you. So do your shopping by supporting the store you love. Get your Spaced Out Radio swag at the SOR Vault today.
All right, I'm back. We got 2.5 minutes.
Are you intrigued?
All right. How we doing, YouTube? We having fun tonight? 129 people. Jim Burton, $10. Thank you. That's 15th. I appreciate that, man. Greetings from Edmonton, Alberta. Home of my Oilers. I love the Oilers since 1979, man. I've loved the Oilers.
What kind of dogs do you have, Dave?
I have a German Shepherd and a German Shepherd Cross. Hey, Greco, how you doing, man? We got 90 seconds.
Man, my parents have a border collie German Shepherd cross, and she's like a wolf.
Oh, yeah.
It's fun.
One second here. All right, 1 minute. All right, final commercial. We got a couple of questions coming up here from our audience. We'll start off with those. Hey, Life Dweller, good to have you back. All right.
Why party anywhere else in Vancouver when the Moose is right there? Get your horns up and rock with the Moose, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Music is on.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott. Follow Dave on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Facebook, Spaced Out Radio Show.
Hour number 2 of Spaced Out Radio is underway tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott. Thank you so much for tuning us in tonight. We really do appreciate it. Hi to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates across North America and on the digital side on TalkStream Live and Revolution Radio. Remember, you can check out all of our archives for free by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Folkloristics. Folkloristics is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show and on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. Tonight we are talking Bigfoot. From SasquatchOntario.com, we have Mike Paterson with us, and we're going to open up the questions to you guys, and Mike's going to tell us some real interesting stories that he has learned over time in his 12 years of investigating this anomalous creature. Mike, welcome back to the show.
Thanks, Dave.
I got a question right off the bat from a few listeners here. A couple of questions. Jim is asking, Jim's from Edmonton. He is asking, have you ever seen Sasquatch up close?
I'll just say I know what Neff looks like. I've never had personally a close visual at this point, but I do know what Neff looks like.
Do you wish you had that up close and personal, just to solidify it?
At this point, yeah. At this point, I'd love to shake his hand for sure.
What do you think that would be like? Because I've wondered that as well.
I don't know. It would. I can understand why they take their time. It would be absolutely phenomenal, to sit down and have a conversation or just have a close visual interaction with them. I don't know how I'd react at this point.
Have you ever asked them?
I've asked many times, yeah.
What's the response you get?
Sasquatch activity, contact, it's basically fleeting incidents. It's never prolonged. They'll show up and they'll do something quick. You get physical contact. They'll touch you and then and then that might be it, or you might get something a half an hour later or an hour later. Everything's fleeting with them. So it's you want to say that question again, Dave?
Just what do you think it would be like meeting them, and how would you feel about having that interaction if they granted it to you?
Well, at this point, of course, it'd be absolutely mind blowing. This is an ancient race of people, right? That I think they've been there long before us. So just to have that privilege would be very humbling.
I think so too. And that is one of those things where, do you think you would have fear at this point? Would you have some timidness?
Quite possibly, maybe likely, but I think I would be fine.
Why are you confident in that?
Just because of the amount of contact experience that I've had. I know they're not going to hurt me. They've shown me nothing but a very loving and compassionate approach over the past, ever since I've been involved in this. Their activity is very boisterous at times and can be misinterpreted as, like some of the vocalizations I have would scare the crap out of certain people, but I know it's just them having fun.
Makes sense.
Having a good time.
Let's go to Bomber's question. Mike, will you speak on the screenshots that were leaked exposing Sasquatch Ontario as a potential hoax?
This situation has been inundated with stalking, with harassment. It's been ongoing since the beginning. There's been actually one person that we figured out who it is. I'm not going to get into their name or mention any of that, but we've been stalked outside the cottage, and I know that there was something witnessed, that this ape chaser, who is with a certain well-known organization, doesn't have a clue what they witnessed. But I'll say to them, pull up George Knapp's Skinwalker Ranch Q&A and listen very, very closely to the incidents that happened there, and you might understand what you experienced, Mr. TP. As far as a hoax is concerned, at one point, Dwayne had called it a hoax because he was trying to get rid of all the stalking going on. There's been trespassing going on since this pretty much started. So at one point, he pulled the plug on the visits back in 2015. It was March 20th, 2015 was my last visit for a certain period of time. We're friends again. We dealt with the situation and figured out what was going on and all that. But, so we've been back at it together and working together again. But at one point, he had pulled the plug because of all this stalking going on. So he called it a hoax. He was trying to make it all go away. And as I mentioned, there's been witnesses to the activity going on there. So everything that's been put out, there is no hoax. People, when you get this close to this truth, it is massive. This truth has the capacity to change the world. It shifts human consciousness. There's people who do not want this stuff out there. So people like myself, when that get this close and you put this stuff out there, you're going to get labeled a hoaxer. You're going to get ridiculed and attacked. And that's it's been predominant throughout the entire situation. So there is no hoax. It's all real. I have far too much experience and knowledge in Sasquatch contact that a growing number of people are well aware of. And I deal with a lot of people in this subject who contact me, and they confide their experiences in me. And there's some well-known people in this subject, and they fully understand that there is a lot of paranormal involved in this subject. So to put out the information that I have, you have to have the experience to do that. There is no hoax.
All right. Jim is asking, do you think Bigfoot has fingerprints? Have you ever found any?
Definitely. I used to use my vehicle as a tool for interactions. One night, and I have it in one of my videos somewhere, my car was wet at the time. It had condensation on it, and they were marking my vehicle. So I would document marks that were being put on the vehicle, and I'd walk around the vehicle, and there would be new marks on the other side. And I'd walk around the vehicle, and then there'd be marks on the other side. And I would keep doing this, walk around and around, and they would keep marking the vehicle as on the opposite side. And so at one point, it's either a finger or a thumbprint, and it, makes mine look like the size of an infant's, and all the dermal ridge lines are there. So yeah, I have documented fingerprints.
Have you ever had any of them tested? Hair samples, foot samples at a lab? Greco wants to know.
There was a cast that I gave to I gave a cast copy to John Bindernagel. I gave one to Les Stroud. There was a show with Meldrum, Stroud, and Bindernagel, where they had a bunch of casts in front of them, and they were talking about people hoaxing footprints. So they went to laser scan a cast, and I remember Les Stroud pointing to the one that I had given him, or it's the one that I gave John. It was sitting on the table, and he said, "I want to, check that one." So they laser scanned that, and that was passed off as authentic. They never stated the results on television, which was interesting in itself, that they were doing this, and then they wouldn't even give the results. But Les, through text later on, confirmed the authenticity of that cast. As far as hair samples, I've collected hair samples from fresh footprints in the snow that are mostly minutes old, I think. Sometimes have been seconds old. They've been that fresh because prints have appeared while we're present. And I've collected samples. One sample was sent to it was a Russian DNA specialist working in a U.S. government lab. And I have the emails that said he was fired and his office was flipped upside down when they found out he was doing Sasquatch hair analysis, basically on the side. He apparently wasn't supposed to be doing that. And they fired him from his job for testing hair samples that I had sent in. There's been other samples sent, and it's always been through third party. I've gone through, it was Chris Murphy, Sasquatch Canada. And there was I was also told, I was given dog, I was given human, and I was given polar bear. So all these results that that I've been told, it's, to me, it's very dubious, because I know where where this hair is coming from, right? It's fresh, right from a fresh footprints, and it's always been in clean snow. So I've never gotten any results back. I haven't done any DNA myself through direct. At this point, I'm convinced there is, people. They don't want this stuff out there. They don't want it known because there is a bigger connection going on here, right? So I really don't trust anybody involved in this subject. There's a couple people I do trust, but that's very far and few between. There's too much going against the grain here that this subject has been covered up. So the hair analysis that I've dealt with at this point has not brought any satisfactory results to my, that I'm aware of.
All right, let's move on here. Lori is asking, have you ever had experiences with black-eyed kids as well as UFOs and other paranormal entities during the same time frame of having a Sasquatch experience?
After the plug was pulled in March of 2015, I spent about 15 months dealing with a roller coaster ride of emotions. I think I was on about my 9th consecutive visit of direct verbal communication that I was documenting, speaking back and forth with Nefertia, right? So when I had the rug pulled from under that, it was devastating. So I think they waited, it was about 15 months. And then one night, I believe it was the big guy showed up they have the ability to make contact in the dream state. This is another one of their abilities. So I believe it was the big guy, the father, who showed up and introduced himself. I don't know his name or anything. Shook his fingers. His hand was so big. And I woke up from that, and within, I think it was just a couple days, a few short days, suddenly I end up with this new location that's about just a few short minutes as the crow flies from the cottage location. It's in the same general area of Neff's place. So when I started back and I started pitching my tent and going myself, I had the very first 3 visits. I had something pass over ahead in space and give a bright flash that was very intense. And I had never witnessed anything like this in my life before. It was a moving object passing directly overhead in space. And when I saw it the first time, it was mind blowing because, I watch for moving objects up there quite often enough, especially camping and that. And I'd never, ever witnessed anything like this before. And suddenly I get it 3 visits in a row. So that was basically directly with being involved with, Sasquatch presence, because I know they're in that region and they tend to always be there when I'm doing my thing, when I'm camping, right? And I've had 2 other UFO incidents put right in front of me. So there has been UFO incidents, no black-eyed children or anything like that, just but definitely UFO stuff going on.
All right, let's get to Ron's question on Facebook. He is asking, in regards to all of your Sasquatch experiences, have you ever run into Dogman in Ontario?
I've had a couple incidents, I think a few incidents now, where there's been one was in California, actually, and it was a telepathic snarl that was so insane. I had audio outside the tent at the time, and it was so prominent that I thought I had it on the audio, and when I listened back, there was nothing there. So I'm quite confident that it was a telepathic incident. And then I've had a couple of other like seemingly canine incidents outside my tent. I've never had any visual of Dogman or anything like that, but I have had some incidents that definitely seem canine.
Do you get a lot of Dogman reports in Ontario?
Not that I'm aware of. It's not something that I've really delved into much. I've not seen that, so it seems that they are another species, somewhat like the Sasquatch, with the similar abilities, interdimensional, telepathic, all that.
All right, let's go to Barry's question. If Sasquatch is paranormal, why do they seem to only appear in wooded areas like northern United States or in Canada? Why not Kansas or something? Kansas is boring. What's there to do in Kansas besides farm and play baseball and football in the fall?
Watch your dog run away for 3 days.
Tell me about it. Although that would be kind of cool. You imagine right in the middle of a cornfield, you got some Sasquatch walking around eating some corn.
From my experience, Dave, they can show up anywhere they wish, anywhere they choose.
All right, moving on here. Ron is asking how is Yeti paranormal if it's a terrestrial being?
What do we really know when it comes to what's out there, and what do we know what they're capable of? We don't know anything really. All right,
Greco is go ahead.
I was just going to say to conclude that that something can't do this or that when we know nothing about it. It just doesn't really make sense. So.
All right. Moving on here. Greco is asking, do you think Bigfoot uses some sort of technology?
Personally, I think it's natural abilities. From my experience, what I'm aware of. I think it's either like a vibrational. I think they can manipulate energy in a natural way.
All right, we've got 2.5 minutes here before we got to go to break. At the bottom of the hour, Mike Paterson from Sasquatch Ontario is our guest. PBR asks a question I think a lot of us are wanting to know the answer to. How did Bigfoot get into your car?
Their activity can show up anywhere, in your living room, inside your home. They can manipulate our electronics. This is something that is entirely different from everything we've ever been taught. And I believe we've been kept from this information. And this, like I said, this involves a much bigger picture. I'm convinced there's an ET connection going on here. So who says they can't can't show up wherever they want to go, right? My experience is they've shown up anywhere they choose. I've had incidents here at home since I've moved to this place. My landlord pointed out a couple of footprint impressions that showed up in the garden there about a week ago. There's been 3 loud vocal incidents directly behind the house here. I've had 2 visits in my living room here. So it's, their abilities are astounding. It's nothing like we've ever known before that we've experienced. This is an entirely new aspect of science that we're really only starting to learn about.
Mike, we've got about 40 seconds left. Let's sneak in one more question here. Prairie Fire is asking, after 1,000 visits with Bigfoot, have they ever invited you back to their home?
Their home is the forest. So I spent a lot of time in their home. Where they stay, where they sleep, I don't know. I've never been there. No.
Interesting. Well, we're going to continue with the audience questions and questions from us as well here on the show, because we're talking Bigfoot all night long. SasquatchOntario.com is the website for Mike Paterson, and we're going to continue the Bigfoot talk because I love this subject. I really, really do, and I hope you do as well, and I hope you're enjoying it as much as I am. Bigfoot in Canada, province of Ontario. He's out there, people, and he's not a Leafs fan. Coming back next on Spaced Out Radio. Our Mississauga station that picks us up. I love throwing any time I can to throw in that I don't like the Leafs. It just feels good. It feels right. All right, we got 5 minutes. Right. Hey, everybody on YouTube, do me a favor. I posted it if you missed it. Make sure you put your questions in capital letters so that way I don't miss your questions. Thank you. I would appreciate that. Let's see here. And do you like Greek food? Greco wants you to come have dinner at his restaurant.
Where?
Where's your restaurant, Greco? I always forget. Hey, Kill Muzzies, welcome to Spaced Out Radio. Appreciate you coming in. Third Face of Moon, good to have you guys here. I hope your hair is fantastic as per usual. Let's see here. Where are we?
Are you going to throw any of those vocals in?
I'm going to try. I'm trying to, that if you saw me looking down at my screen last break, that's what I was trying to look into there. See if they would actually come through. I'll try again here. See if this is going to work. I'm trying a different way.
Beer time.
For some reason, they're all coming up as errors on here. I don't know why. Because it's showing that it did download. Hey, Scarborough Sasquatch Station. How you doing, buddy? Good to have you back. Where you been hiding? All right. Who else we got here? Philip Matlock. The Philip Matlock is here. Nathan, we already asked the Dogman question. For some reason, these are not playing for me. And I don't know why. And I'm getting kind of pissed off. Brig. Okay, we got 100 seconds.
Yeah, all that audio is on my YouTube channel. Throughout the videos.
Yeah, I got to change my system. See, normally, if my system was hooked up correctly by my former engineers, I'd just be able to go right to your YouTube channel and hit play. But because of the craziness in their setup, I can't do that, and that's what's frustrating to me. That I got to get it changed. I do. All right, we got 1 minute. Hi, Tina. How are you? Thanks for coming in. Appreciate that. $35 seconds. All right, here we get going here.
You can find
All right,
Cryptid Tales at
5 seconds here.
youtube.com/spacedoutradio. And while you're there, don't forget to check out our free archives and leave a comment. See you there.
Pretty much, Nick Ann. All right, music is on. We passed the halfway point of Spaced Out Radio tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us tonight. We want to remind you that if you missed portions of this show or others, check out our free archives at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio for the show and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. Our website, spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. From SasquatchOntario.com, we have Mike Paterson tonight, who's investigating this creature the last dozen years in the Canadian province of Ontario. Mike, welcome back.
Thank you very much.
Do you ever get called by this creature? And the reason why I ask that, okay, is in a different circumstance. A gentleman named Nelson Dellis 2 years ago was on this show, and he had almost died on Mount Everest twice in his 3 attempts to summit. He's never summited. He was supposed to go this year, but COVID kind of killed that. All right. But the idea that I'm thinking here is one of the things that he mentioned when I asked him is at night he hears Everest calling his name, like it's time to come back, it's time to come home. And I'm wondering with Sasquatch, if you're lying in bed at night and it's, say, dead of winter where it's minus 20 degrees Celsius out, are you hearing the calls from this creature telling you to come out in the forest?
I've heard stories of that happening with people, being told to come outside. That's never happened to me at this point. Although I do have a lot of recordings of Neff calling my name, but that's with direct communication going on and vocalizations that are happening. They understand what the equipment does, so they know I'm recording them, right? But I've never had that calling to go outside.
No way. That surprises me.
No.
That actually surprises me. All right. I got a photo of you for the promo of this show, of you standing in front of this amazing wood structure. What's it like walking through the forest and then all of a sudden coming across one of these?
My theory on many of them is they are put basically beside trails that are walked by humans, put right in our face. I see them as something similar to like crop circles, crop formations, ETs, exposing their existence through that sort of thing. I see Sasquatch doing the same thing. It's sort of a gentle exposing of their people, to show these formations that, you question them. I see a lot of people, they just walk right past them, whereas kids, they might be fascinated by them, but they entice questions and make people ponder. It's sort of something that maybe it's art of some sort from them. I don't know, but I've documented many of them myself over the years. At this point, I don't really look for them. It's always fun to find them. I know there's There have been quite a few people in this subject that have documented these things, especially throughout North America. Colorado is a big part of that. I remember Mark Abel, he's documented a lot of those things. Leanne here in Ontario, who I've worked with, she's documented many of those as well. And they can be found in the most unlikely of places where you would never think to find activity, Sasquatch activity. But from what I've learned, they can show up in the most unlikeliest of places.
Nathan wants to know, what does it mean when you see Sasquatch stacks of rocks?
I honestly, I have no idea. I've not really run into that. So I couldn't tell you. Sorry.
Yeah, neither have I. I tried making one near where we have our gifting site, and the deer kept knocking it down. I knew it was a deer because I saw the prints. But, I mean, just sucks. I tried. All right. Jim is wondering, what's with all the howling noise? Why do you think they howl?
It's funny. I hear a lot of vocalizations in videos predominantly throughout the U.S. with those howls, and I've not really experienced that. I've experienced roars. Sounds something between a gorilla and a lion. Yells and screams, but I've not really been privy to the howling that I've heard in videos like that. So I don't know.
Okay, so you have recorded howls, and unfortunately, my audio system is not working properly tonight, so I can't play them. But with the howls and the roars and the voices you have heard, do they come at distinct times as to why they are happening?
Vocalizations, I find, happen mainly late at night, although I've heard them at all times, even heard them in the house. There's been, as I mentioned before, with when I was living in Brampton, there was 2 incidents where there was vocalizations in the house from both adult and young. So the vocals can be anytime, anywhere, but mainly it seems to be at night.
Okay, so do you think that they are calling other creatures? Maybe they're on the attack, they're trying to get food, or that you're in their territory, so they're letting you know that they know you're there? What do you think is happening?
Depends on the situation, right? If like with myself, and it also comes down, I think, to proximity. If they know you're in the area, maybe they're revealing their presence. Maybe they're speaking to each other, vocalizing to each other, giving some sort of a communication. I honestly, how would I know what they're really, their intention is with their vocals in that sense? I don't know.
Interesting. And that's the problem. We don't know. And that's probably as vague of an answer as that is, it's probably the best answer as well. So let's move on here. Leah is asking, or is it Lee A? Lee A is asking, Mike, what about the weaving of twigs and grass? Have they been gifted to you?
Yeah, both Dwayne and myself have been given numerous hand-woven gifts. He's received some with marbles woven on the inside of them, which is pretty fascinating. And you can tell some of them, they come from different individual family members, both young and more experienced. You can just tell by expertise done in some of the hand weaves. But yes, we've definitely received some gifts from them.
Okay.
It was they were made with. I was just going to say they were made with a hollow stem plant material. I'm not sure what the plant is, but they basically twist it into figures and different things.
Okay, how do you find these? Are they laying on the ground? Are they hanging in the trees? And how do you know if they're hanging in the trees that it isn't some Blair Witch Project kind of BS that's going to scare the daylights out of you?
They're strategically placed so you know they're for you. Whenever they would give myself one, Dwayne would get one as well. I remember one visit, I pulled up to the cottage. There's snow on the ground. I was unloading my gear. I just got there, and I brought in one load of equipment. I come outside, and suddenly there's a 17-inch footprint beside my vehicle, and my trunk was open, and there was a hand-woven gift placed inside my trunk, and then there was one placed on Dwayne's snowmobile. So the one on the snowmobile is for him, the one in the trunk is for myself.
How big are they?
Like less than a hand size, half a hand size, maybe. My hand, few inches, 4, 5, 6 inches.
Oh wow! So
they're different sizes.
What do you think this symbolizes in receiving this? Because I've heard of this before. I've also had listeners, one in Ontario, one in Quebec, and one in Colorado, actually all talk about the fact that Sasquatch has also braided the manes of horses on their property.
Well, the hand-woven gifts, I believe, are, it's just, it comes from their heart. It's love. It's my experience with them has been love and compassion. That's how they've approached me, and it's been like that throughout the entire situation. So their gifts come from the heart.
Do you leave gifts as well?
Yep. Yeah, we give a lot of food gifts, but we've given other things, throughout the years. They don't always take everything, but we tend to leave food for the most part.
Okay, so what do you leave for them, and how do you know it's Sasquatch taking it and not maybe a bear or a cougar or foxes or coyotes?
Don't always know in that aspect, but sometimes let's say if you left 2 apples and one is gone, that sort of thing, that's not going to be a bear or a raccoon, because they're going to take it all. They show they're not ravenous, they're not greedy, nothing like that. They're very giving, and there's been paranormal incidents in the cottage where I know Dwayne's brought bags of pepperonis and they disappear throughout the night right out of the fridge. There's been beer disappear out of the fridge.
Oh, that's getting that's getting personal now. That's getting way too personal now. Hold on, what kind of beer was it?
Yeah.
Was it light beer? Let's just be honest here. Was it light beer?
No, we don't drink light beer. No.
All right, good. Just gonna make sure.
Yeah, like to people, that's going to sound like crazy, right? Of course, and most of this does sound crazy, but it's what it is. These are people. They're animals.
Okay, but do you ever find the cans?
There was one incident where a bottle was left on the kitchen counter after it was drank, and half the bottle we picked it up, and half the bottle was almost hot to the touch. And I've learned they have a lot of body heat through things that they've tossed at me that I've picked up, and they're very warm. They also have a lot of oil in their skin, which I think obviously would help retain that body heat. So there's been strange incidents like that where you pick something up and there's no reason for it to be like that. It shouldn't be hot to the touch. So they just had it. They were just holding it seconds earlier, sort of thing. Like I said, there's a lot of strange. This subject is just littered with high strangeness. So it's just constant throughout, and very hard to digest for many people. I can understand. It's way out there.
Oh, we got peak woo here for sure, my friend. We got peak woo, and I love it. That's what this is all about. All right, Prairie Fire is asking, I like this question. Have you ever been shown any type of aggression towards you or the people around you from Bigfoot?
I had an incident, and this was not aggression, though, but I did get whacked on the head once with a tree limb. I was inside my tent. The mosquitoes were thick, and I was pumping up an air mattress with a manual pump, and I was sort of standing up in my tent, so my head was pushing against the top. And I had I had a video camera pointing into the forest away from the tent, so you can hear the branch crack as it's, I guess, broken from the tree. And then the speed of which it hits my head is instant. It's almost instantly. It's not like it took a few seconds to fall from the tree. It's just crack and then whack on my head, and that hurt. He hurt me, and I let him know that. He never did it again. But that's basically the only incident where I've been hurt. I've been hit with marbles and stuff, but nothing that's hurt me. And there's been no real no aggression with any no intent to harm me. Never.
Do you feel lucky about that?
When I first started doing this, I had a lot of fear. I had my biggest fear was a tree or a large boulder coming down on top of my tent. That was my biggest fear, really. And at this point, I'm fine. I have no fear anymore. But it definitely takes some time to get used to their presence.
How do you get used to that time, though? How is it a matter of you getting used to them, or is it a matter of them getting used to you?
Perhaps it's both, but I think more on my end of getting used to their presence. And it's just been so many incidents over time. So you build that trust, and you trust that you're not going to be harmed, especially after so much time at this point. They are, like I said before, they've shown me nothing but a very loving and compassionate approach, and they keep showing up in my life. I have no control over it. They show up periodically. I go visit them when I can, and they always show their presence through my audio for the most part. They do a lot of stick breaking, and they know what the audio recorders do, right? So they tend to show up quite often.
Okay, so as that is going on and these situations are going on, are there any telltale signs of when you are going to receive communication?
No, it tends to be sporadic, just out of the thin air. It's always unexpected. Their activity definitely seems to have purpose behind their interactions. As I mentioned before, they're teachers. They teach with very small gestures. They give a lot of information. And they like the element of surprise. They will always catch you off guard every time, always unexpected. And I never expect from them, and I'm always grateful for everything they give.
Who is Neff?
Nefertia, that's he's been the main individual that we've interacted with the most. There's been other family members involved, younger and older siblings. Some of them I've been able to distinguish, like I know I have some audio where Neff has a lisp. So when he pronounces his S, because he said like thither, right? And then I have a recording of one saying like Sasquatch says yeah, and that one pronounces his S's perfect. So it's like that's not Neff. That's a different individual. And they show their presence through their footprints too, different size prints from different family members. But like I mentioned, Neff has been the main individual that we have dealt with throughout this entire situation. The one who's given by far the most vocalizations, although we have recorded vocals from numerous family members. And you know, when it comes down to the whole accusations of hoaxing, and there's been a lot of people saying Dwayne is the voice of Neff. I've posted numerous audio files showing the three of us all there at the same time, or you can easily tell that Neff's voice is distant from ours and that sort of thing. So, but he's been the main character.
How do they know English?
He's a funny guy.
How do they know English?
Well, they're people. They've given me the experience through telepathy that showed me that language is no barrier with them. I had this experience where I was given an image of dozens of them walking across an open meadow all in the same direction. That was followed by the words, "Soon your people will know." And when those words came, they were not spoken, they were felt. And there's a clarity that comes with it that leaves zero doubt as to what is being conveyed. And as I mentioned, the words were not spoken. So it showed me that language is no barrier for them. And one of the questions I gave them one time and received a written answer, I asked them about language. I said, "What language do your people speak?" And they gave me the answer of all.
That would definitely come from some sort of etherical place for them to know all of it.
Yeah. Well, their abilities are astounding, and we don't understand them. So who knows what they're capable of, and we really don't know much about them, right? So.
Oh, very true. Very true. You know, but that's where we're trying to figure it on out. And that's why you're getting out there trying to continue the communication with these creatures.
There's more and more people that are hearing them vocalize while out in the field doing their research. And there's growing number that are hearing them speak English. So I know it's very difficult to comprehend for some people and accept that this species can speak, because a lot of people think they're animals, right? They're not animals. They are people.
My friend, I'm going to get you to hold on right there, because we are going to go to break here at the top of the hour. And we have Mike Paterson here from Sasquatch Ontario breaking down his information regarding a Sasquatch being that may not be from here. We continue it right after this, heading into hour 3 on Spaced Out Radio. Okay, Mike, I'm just going to run my dogs outside one more time here. I'll be right back, okay?
Yeah, no problem.
All right. Be right back, YouTubers.
Hello, space travelers. It's me again, Carl. Don't forget to join the Space Travelers Club for just $5 a month and follow Spaced Out Radio on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. Our Instagram, Dave Scott SOR. Our Facebook page is Spaced Out Radio Show. Our archives are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Come woo it up with Spaced Out Radio today. Bye.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
For the price of 1 cup of coffee a month, you can become an SOR Space Traveler. The Space Travelers Club is a place where you can interact with other listeners, either live during the show or on our great forum. We want your stories, pictures, comments, and ideas. You'll get live video streams, exclusive content, and be a part of our newsletter. Stay in touch with everything SOR. The Space Travelers Club is just $5 a month at spacedoutradio.com.
We all know on Spaced Out Radio we love a good beard and mustache, so why not take care of your facial hair with Mighty Moose Beard Oil? Made in Canada, we're taking care of beards and stashes around the world. We use 100% natural ingredients with our oils and balms to make your whiskers feel silky smooth. Use promo code SOR2019 at mightymoosebeard.com today.
The party is always on at the Moose Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is where you want to be when visiting Canada's West Coast. Open until 2 a.m. nightly, the Moose cranks up the rock while serving some of the best rated food in the city. The menu starts at $6.95. Why party anywhere else in Vancouver when the Moose is right there? Get your horns up and rock with the Moose, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Hi there, this is the paranormal lawyer Michael W. Hall. I'd like to invite you to listen in each Sunday night where we're going to open up your eyes to everything strange and paranormal. I will be hosting some great guests with topics that affect us all, such as UFOs, ghosts, and everything paranormal. Let's learn together on Spaced Out Radio Sunday with myself, Michael W. Hall, the paranormal lawyer at spacedoutradio.com.
Looking for creative ways to get your company out in the public? How about advertising on Spaced Out Radio? Our sales department is waiting to hear from you, and we can work around any budget. From commercial spots to banners to special promotions, there are many opportunities to get your name and product out to our SOR listeners. For a price guide and more information, please contact us at sales@spacedoutradio.com.
We are scouring the world for the most intriguing stories of your day. Take the time to read up on the SOR Newswire, where our team, led by Captain Shirk, will deliver to you some of the best paranormal and supernatural news, along with some stories that will blow your mind from the weird to the wacky.
I'm back.
It's the news outside the news that piques interest.
All right. There we go. We've got 2.5 minutes. You having fun, Mike?
Yeah, man, having a good time.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Hey, when we get to break at the bottom of the hour, just hold on until I go to commercial, and then we'll say goodnight to you, okay?
Okay. I just remembered an incident. I just remembered about an incident I wanted to mention too.
Sure.
You know, like, I said this stuff follows me around. So.
Yeah, just save that. Save that. All right. Hey, Lunar Sparkles in our chat room tonight on YouTube. Having a birthday. Happy birthday, Luna Sparkles. Tina, we love you. I hope you're having a good time with all of us here. Good job, Tina. 47, you and me, same age. You're looking beautiful and lovely. Good job, Tina. All right, happy birthday to you. Hey, Dutch, you're Dutch, man. You are so Dutch. You got a great beard, but you're Dutch. So you're like 50-50 right now. He is the owner of Mighty Moose Beard Oil, the Dutchman, Gary Vermeer. Remember, all you need to do is grab this, go to mightymoosebeard.com. Grab this, use your promo code SOR2014. Pick yourself up some great beard oil. It is fantastic. I love it. And remember, you're paying in Canadian dollars. So if you're in the United States, you're paying in Canadian dollars. So check it on out. You're going to save yourself a bunch of money. Seriously. And it's good stuff, too. I highly recommend it. So go to mightymoosebeard.com and pick up some beard oil or some balm or whatever. It's real easy to use. Real easy. You can't screw it up. So make sure you use it. There you go, Dutch. My man. Mighty Moose Beard. Mighty Moose Beard. You know what? I'll put on my beard oil hat here. Hold on. Before we go to break here, just for the Dutchman. Just for the Dutchman. There you go. There you go. Oh, there you go, Dutch. Changed it up just for you, right on the fly. All right, music's coming on, everyone. Thank you to Teresa, Patrick, and Jim for the super chats tonight. I really appreciate it.
SpacedOutRadio.com for all your latest show info. Now, back to Dave Scott and SOR.
Third and final hour of Spaced Out Radio is underway tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott. Thank you so much for taking the time to tune us in. Hi to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America and on the digital side on TalkStream Live and Revolution Radio. Remember, you can check out all of our archives for free by going to youtube.com/spaced out radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Folkloristics. Folkloristics is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets a password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, along with on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. From SasquatchOntario.com, we have Mike Paterson with us tonight, and he's got some incredible stories that he has been sharing with us all night long, talking Bigfoot here. Mike, welcome back to the show.
Thanks, Dave. I'm enjoying the time here. Thank you very much.
Now, you had an incident that you wanted to share with us.
Yeah, I mentioned before, like, activity has followed me around. It doesn't matter where I go. And so I have some long-time friends that I play music with. Drummer I've known since I was 14. The other guys, probably several decades. And we have a rehearsal spot that we go to. And there's been numerous incidents that have happened in the room. And one of them was we're standing around between jams, just having a drink and talking. And so we're all standing there in a circle. And suddenly a 10-cent piece, a dime, appeared out of thin air about 4 or 5 feet off the floor, right in the middle of us, and dropped to the floor. And I've had I've witnessed this stuff so much. I scooped that thing up so quick. I was right on top of it, right? But there's been orb activity in the room. There's been numerous incidents. Another one was a smell of a stench that appeared in the room out of thin air that was so disgusting. I don't know what it was. We gave it a term that I can't say on here. It would get me in trouble, but
me too.
This activity has definitely followed me. Doesn't matter where I go. So and as I mentioned before, there's been numerous witnesses throughout the years with this ongoing contact.
Do you feel like you're haunted by this creature?
Nope, not at all. No, I love it. I embrace it. I love the activity, and I want more of it. I have no fear of it. I enjoy it. To witness these paranormal incidents and understand that there's this highly intelligent people that are making contact with me. No, I love it.
Joey is asking in our Space Travelers Club, have you employed any personal scientific attempts to test the frequencies related to Sasquatch invisibility, such as a stroboscope type instrumentation?
No, nothing like that at this point. It's been very personal, although I've put it out publicly, but it's been a very personal situation. I haven't documented as much as I should because my time spent is so short that I just want to enjoy my time there. And so no, we've not taken it to that level.
Do you want to? Do you want to prove or disprove, or are you just about enjoying the experiences that are there?
When I first started, I wanted to prove. At this point, I stand up for what I know is truth. I don't care about proof at this point. I have passed up on so much DNA evidence. Urine, hair samples. I honestly, I don't care anymore because I see what I've witnessed throughout the years in this subject. It's doesn't matter what you put out there, Dave. It's people are going to get their backs up or they're going to accept it. One of the either or, and it, you could put one right in front of somebody's face and they still might deny it. So at this point, I share my experiences. I love recording audio. That's been a huge part of my research, if you want to call that. I don't even really call myself a researcher. I am and I'm not, whatever it is. I'm just I'm an experiencer. They came into my life and I just share my experiences, and I believe that they're happy about that because they keep on giving and they know what I'm doing with it.
Do you ever feel that you could push it too far? Because there's a number of people who believe that maybe they have pushed their research too far and it's pretty much scared the creatures off.
I'm at a point where I think I know my boundaries, their boundaries. There's certain things that I'm aware of that I don't say, that I don't speak about, certain things that I haven't shared, and certain things that I've even asked them about sharing, and they've said not yet. So I respect them, and I think at this point, the way I've approached this, I've done pretty well, and I just wanted to stay the course as I've done up to this point.
Why withhold information?
Everything has a time and a place. Everything, like I said, when I first got involved in this, it took me about a year to speak out. There's certain things, certain information is just not for public. It's not to be put out there. Obviously, I can't sit here and get into that, but just certain things I've learned. It's too much, just too much. Like what I'm saying already. It's insane, right? And it just gets even crazier. So.
Do you have a hard time believing the own information that you're seeing with your own eyes, ears, and collecting?
At this point, no. I've had so much of it that I'm quite used to it, and I thoroughly enjoy it, although I'll still react to it. Not always. Sometimes. I remember an incident last winter. I had a glass in my hand, and suddenly a marble appeared in my glass out of thin air inside the cottage. I was standing up and with this glass in my hand, and this marble goes tink. And, I freaked out a little bit, but I've had it happen numerous times. So it's something that sometimes I'm laid back about and sometimes I freak out about. It depends on the situation.
Okay, so you do believe, though, there is an extraterrestrial portion to this phenomena as well?
Definitely. Yep. 100%. And I believe this is why this is being covered up. This information expands human consciousness. There's people that want our status quo to stay as it is, and this knowledge just tosses all that out the window. So I'm fully convinced there is a much bigger aspect to this: ET connection, UFOs, all that.
Interesting. So how do you figure that connection is handled? Where does it come from?
Their cognitive, their telepathic abilities, the UFO incidents that have happened, the intelligence behind it. It's a knowing. It doesn't really come down to a belief when you're at a certain level. It's a knowing. Can I prove it? No.
Do you want to prove it?
I'd love to give something that is so solid that it would shut those naysayers down like that. But hey, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, whatever. I'm not going to lose sleep over it.
So what do you think you would have to do in order to calm the naysayers from the information that you have? What do you need to prove?
The naysayers are always going to be there. So, the skeptics, and being skeptical is healthy. I'm a skeptic myself. I'm a huge skeptic. But there's always going to be naysayers in this subject, and there's nothing you can really put in front of them that's going to change some people's minds. So at this point, I've accepted that, and that's their journey. They're going to have, if they want their own proof, they're going to have to get off their butts and get out into the woods and make it happen for themselves. This is the only way to get your proof, is to get out there and do it for yourself.
Mike Paterson is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio, talking Bigfoot tonight. Have you ever had any incidents in the forest where you were having close encounters with Sasquatch and all of the sudden UFOs started flying over?
No, not at the same time. I've had where there's been activity that I have found out after the fact through my audio that I know they were present. And then I've had, when I mentioned earlier about those 3 consecutive visits with those objects flying overhead in space and giving those bright flashes, I think they call them power-ups. That's about the only incidents.
A lot of people have reported that when UFOs are around, the Sasquatch seem to scramble right out of the area. Have you noticed that as well?
No. I haven't had that, like I said, that experience with UFO activity while they're there's been Sasquatch activity going on, but from my understanding, there are cases out there that have been reported where there's been Sasquatch seen coming and going from UFOs.
I've heard of that too. So what's your theory on that? Do you think we are dealing with an extraterrestrial presence when it comes to Sasquatch?
One of the questions I've asked Neff's family and received a written answer, I asked, where do you come from? Where do your people come from? And they wrote, home here always. So were they seated here? I don't know. I trust their word, what they tell me. I trust them more than I trust humans at this point. I don't know their history, but perhaps they've been here long before us, and how they got here, I don't know. But from what they tell me, what I've been told, this has always been their home.
Do you believe that there will become a time where we are actually proving 100% their existence? Look, you're an experiencer. I'm an experiencer of this phenomena. Many others are. We don't need the proof. But there's a large portion of the population that would disagree with us, or believe it's folklore, believe it's just monster talk and stories and legends. Okay. Do you think there will come a time when this creature is actually proven to be existent?
Yeah, I do believe that. And I believe it's going to come from them, not from us. I believe they are going to expose themselves. And I believe we're in the midst of them exposing themselves right now. And I think they're waiting till our understanding, our consciousness gets to a certain level, and then they will up their game or reveal more or whatever it is. I believe this is their choice, that they are revealing themselves, and I believe the reason being because of where we're headed and the destruction we're causing on the earth.
It's not the first time I've heard that. That is kind of interesting. So, with that being said, do you look at this creature then, if they are going to make their own presence known, how would they do that in your mind?
Well, they already are doing it, Dave, and they're doing it selectively, individually, revealing to more and more people, a growing number. And I've witnessed so much. I've basically have learned Sasquatch behavior through my audio, through the interactions, through so many interactions. And I see their behavior, and so many people that I've spoken to that also have this ongoing contact experience. It's all the same. They are choosing who they make contact with, and those numbers are growing. And I think it's going, like I just mentioned, I think it's going to get to a certain level, and then they're going to give something big that is really going to step up the game.
What's your opinion then? Sorry for cutting you off, but what's your opinion then? What would be the benefit or the hindrance of Sasquatch being proven in existence?
Wake humans up, because if you look around the world right now, all these people walking around with masks and walking around in fear and all suppressed, and it's just the way we're headed right now, we're doomed. The way the human race is going right now. So
well, what can Sasquatch bring to the table? I mean, it's not like they have a cure for COVID-19.
Yeah, I can get into that too. I asked them about that as well. I asked them that question about the COVID-19, and I asked them, was it man-made? And they told me yes, made by bad humans. It's their contact. It expands human consciousness, and an expanded consciousness does not allow or does not align with what's going on this earth right now. It goes against the grain. Humans would not accept what is being pushed on us, this narrative, if they were aware and their consciousness was opened and expanded. Sasquatch contact does that.
We've got 3.5 minutes left before we got to go to break at the bottom of the hour. Mike Paterson is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio. Leah is asking, have you ever had the military show up at your door or any political alphabet agency?
I have not really been bothered that way. I get torn apart online, ridiculed, this and that. So at this point, I'm used to that. But we have had incidents at the cottage, the last one being a very low-flying Cessna about 10 o'clock at night. And I asked about that and was given a written response that it was bad plane for us, meaning them. And they drew the plane and they drew these lines coming out the front like some sort of radar technology, scanning technology, something like that. There's been, like I said, we've been harassed and stalked on that property. So there's definitely some nefarious activity going on regarding outside influence by humans. I don't know where it's coming from, who it is. Is it an organization involved in the subject? Is it military? I'm not sure.
Well, at least you should hope not. Because that's where it gets just stupid, is when the military gets involved. They screw up everything.
Yeah, I have no fear, though.
My friend, we've only got about... Go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to say, I'm happy I've put this out there so much publicly. I think it helps to keep that sort of thing minimal.
Right. I can see that. I can totally see that. Mike, we've only got 90 seconds left with you tonight, and you have an incredible website called SasquatchOntario.com that is very well put together, very easy to read, and great videos and everything on there. Tell our listeners what they would find if they go investigating there.
I've not put that much content on there lately, but I was given some help in putting that website up. Big thanks to Keenan for that, and he did a great job. I'm just speaking my truth and sharing the information. Slowly putting up some of the videos and that, and articles that I've written on some of the experiences. I also have the Sasquatch Ontario YouTube channel. There's all kinds of audio throughout those videos, just some phenomenal audio recordings. So visit SasquatchOntario.com and Sasquatch Ontario on YouTube and go through those videos. And there's a lot of stuff to enjoy and learn through that. It's all real. There's no hoax. It's all experience and some really phenomenal stuff throughout all that.
Well, that's great. Mike, I want to say thank you for coming on Spaced Out Radio tonight, telling us about your very interesting findings in your research with Bigfoot. Good luck with your search and be safe out in those forests, man.
Thank you very much, Dave. It was a pleasure being here. Glad you had me on. It's a good time.
We appreciate it too. Coming up next on Spaced Out Radio, we have the SOR Newswire and the Thought of the Dave. Stay tuned. More from the mountains of British Columbia. Coming up next on the Mighty SOR. Good job, Mike. We'll give you a little clap.
Thanks, Dave.
We'll give you some clapping here because you deserve that. Good job. All right, you and your lovely lady there, you go enjoy your evening. I know it's 2:30 in the morning there, but thank you so much for taking the time. I really appreciate it.
All right. Thanks for having me on, Dave. Appreciate it.
Cheers, guys. Take care. Thank you.
Okay, you too. Ciao.
Good night. That was fun. I liked him. A lot of his stories coincided with things that I have personally have happened. I know that's very, very tough to believe. And trust me, I get it. But, for me and from what I have personally experienced, I fully understand what he's talking about and where he's kind of trying to go with that. And I just find it intriguing. I really do. Let's see here. I'm just putting the news together. Oh, yeah, the Perseid meteor shower's coming up. We're going to give you an update on that. Of course we are, because that's what we do around here. I like a good meteor shower. And, of course, it's cloudy. It was sunny all day here. And because the night has come and Neo Swarm or whatever the hell that meteor is called is coming up, of course it gets cloudy here. Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Mother Nature. Appreciate that. It's not like I don't want to see the friggin' meteor. Oh. Thank you, gorgeous Teresa. I appreciate that. You're so nice to me. So nice to me. Adnome. What's going on, Adnome? You are Dutch, Gary. So Dutch. Do 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 do. Do do do. Do do do. Do 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 do. Do do do. Do do do. Do 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 do. Red guitar is now behind me. I moved the Jackson over here. Oh, let's go here. Do 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 do. Do do do. Do do do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 you know the song? Who can guess the song that I was just singing? Or doing? No, I can't find strings here, man. My music store closed due to COVID. I can't find any friggin' guitar strings. So I got to go out of town to get guitar strings. Seriously. All right, here we go. Hey, 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 hey. We've rounded third. We're heading for home tonight on Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. I want to remind you that if you've missed most of this show or others, you can check out our free archives at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor. Hit that subscribe button. Our website, spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire, and much, much more. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, and of course, on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. Speaking of the news, let's get to it right now. The news is always changing, which is why we bring you the SOR Newswire at the back end of every show, where we get to the weird, the strange, the wacky, and sometimes the downright awesome. So about an hour before showtime tonight, I got a message from Nicole Sasquatch. Now, she is a researcher on UFOs for Grant Cameron. And you guys all know that, I have a very, very healthy relationship and huge respect for Mr. Cameron and the great job that he has done in the UFO world. And anyways, so Nicole tonight was sitting around her house doing a little bit of research, and all of a sudden she felt like she was getting pulled outside. So she goes outside of her home and she films a 4.5-minute video of a UFO in the daytime. And this just happened this evening. And what's really, really cool about it is the fact that after that 4.5 minutes, she walks in from the outside of her house, okay? And, she walks back in the door, and on her research table, where she does her work for Grant, there is a little pile of rocks now sitting on her table right in front of her chair. No, she doesn't have animals. Okay? There's nobody else living at her house. Okay? Nobody playing games on her, or nobody has keys to her house, or anything like that. Okay? And literally, she was freaking out in a real excited way, because she has no idea how all of a sudden this little pile of rocks showed up on her table shortly after visiting and filming a UFO outside. So on Monday, I'm going to talk to her. We're going to get something on tape, and we'll bring it to you guys on the show, probably live. I'm going to talk to her and get her on live about this. We have to have this on. Definitely. Well, she'll tell the story much better than I will. All right, let's move on to the news. A Florida surfer. Oh, this is already starting bad. A Florida surfer captured a video when she was out on the water and found that her surfboard was surrounded by curious sharks. What was Lindsay Baldwin thinking? The ocean has wild animals in it, and fish and mammals and plankton and all sorts of stuff that wants to eat you. Well, Lindsay here said she was surfing in the waters off New Smyrna Beach when she noticed sharks swimming nearby. She captured a video as 3 sharks approached her board. Water temperatures are fluctuating and beach friends are showing up. Beach friends? These are not friends. They're not underwater saying, fish are friends, not food. All right? This isn't a cartoon. This is real deal here. We got great whites going up to Nova Scotia, surfers surrounded by sharks in Florida. If there was ever a reason to stay out of the ocean, it's right now. Right now. Dangerous. She said the third one wasn't very small. No, because it wanted to eat you. It totally did. Look, I may talk negatively about sharks, okay? So before all the PETA stuff starts happening, I may talk negative about sharks, okay? But I don't want them killed. I do not want them killed whatsoever. No way. Because that is their territory. It's like when I got a bear in my yard walking through. Sure, it scares the daylights out of me, or a cougar that growled at me in my backyard. Okay? Sure, it scares me. But this is their territory, right? And I can always go inside. But when you're in it on a surfboard, surrounded by man-eaters, that's a lonely feeling I never, ever want. Ever. All right? Don't kill them. They're needed. They're great for the ocean. Fantastic. Humans in the ocean, not so great. We're food. We are food and we deserve that. New York City diners were forced onto the sidewalk at restaurants are now being attacked by rats as restaurateurs beg the city to tackle its sanitation problem. New Yorkers have been flocking in their droves to enjoy European-style outdoor dining at some of their favorite haunts ever since the city entered phase 2 of its coronavirus reopening. The move has provided some much-needed income for the restaurants and bar owners that were forced to shutter back in March, but with more food being eaten outdoors, guess what? This is attracting the rats. The vermin are around now. All right? Yeah. Restaurant owners are now urging city officials to tackle what is fast becoming a new public health issue. Great. We're going to get the plague in New York now. Totally going to get the plague from rats. I can see this. Giacomo Romano, owner of Ciccio, an Italian restaurant in Soho, says one of his customers had the unfortunate encounter with a rat while enjoying a meal in the outdoor dining area. Last night, a customer had a baby rat running on its shoe, and I let you just imagine his reaction. Romano, whose restaurant has been open in Lower Manhattan for 7 years, said the rats are coming out of nearby Father Fagan Park, a popular spot for city dwellers to relax. He pointed out that there is only one trash can for the entire park, and people are opting for takeout and picnics in the park and throwing garbage in the area. There are a lot of new holes in the ground covered by the plants. He says a park goer also said they had seen several rats in the area while they were sitting on a bench. Romano said, though he agrees with plans to put indoor dining on hold in the city, city leaders need to tackle the growing problem and has contacted the leaders asking for help. It's not only Manhattan restaurant owners voicing their concerns about the burgeoning sanitation issue. Barbershop owner Pasquale Giacobbe, who just reopened his business on the same street as Ciccio last week, is also urging the city to step in. I already don't have the help from the state, no loans from nobody. At least they can come do something for all the tax we pay. Oh, these are big rats. Big rats. Anyways, they reached out to Mayor Bill de Blasio's office for comment. However, the city is keeping a little hush on this right now. The Big Apple entered phase 2 of its coronavirus reopening plan on June 22nd, allowing restaurants to open with outdoor dining. Emergency programs aimed to help hard-hit restaurants clamber back to their feet after 3 months of closures. Now permit sidewalk and patio seating as well as tables to be set up in parking spots. Several establishments that previously had no outdoor seating have set up dining areas in the streets and on the sidewalks, stretching for miles along popular parts of Manhattan and Brooklyn. I got a good idea for this, okay? What you need to do is you just need to hire some of those guys who go onto farms and into junkyards and stuff with pellet guns, with airsoft pellet guns, and take the rats out. All right? That's what they need to do. Start taking them out. Call in the military with pellet guns. We got this covered. See? Easy solution right there. Pellets are cheap. A Chicago Aquarium's resident penguins got a real cool tour of something they may have never seen before. You know, penguins are very, very curious creatures, so they got a chance to walk alongside dinosaurs. During the current pandemic, the first half of the year saw mass closures of massive public attractions all across the world, in this case, zoos, aquariums, and museums. Little by little, some are starting to reopen as the world slowly starts to emerge from the other side of the outbreak. However, before the public began barging back into the Shed Aquarium, the penguins went on a field trip. Oh, it's cute. It is so cute. In this adorable video posted to the aquarium's Facebook page, you can see Izzy and Darwin as they stroll through a land before time at the Field Museum, filled with incredible dinosaur exhibits. The clip's caption reads, Magellanic penguin pair, Izzy and Darwin, waddled over to visit our neighbors at the Field Museum. Include Sue, the T-Rex, and Maximo, the Titanosaur. What the hell is a Titanosaur? These field trips are conducted fairly regularly with the penguins, helping them exercise while introducing them to some variety in their lives at the aquarium. In other videos, penguins can be seen exploring several different areas, with Wellington emerging as the keenest traveler on the lot. While details regarding Field Museum's reopening will come soon, Shed Aquarium is back in operation with stringent measures in place to create a safe and enriching experience with the aquatic animal world. It says on its website, it's time to spread your wings. Oh, that's cute. I love these penguin stories. Penguins are just adorable, aren't they? All right, let's move on. A hot air balloon caused a scene in an Illinois town when it had to make an emergency landing in the middle of a residential neighborhood. Residents of Lake in the Hills, a far northwest suburb of Chicago, said it's not unusual to see hot air balloons in the sky, but they were pretty shocked when one landed in the middle of their cul-de-sac. We looked out our window, and here comes this hot air balloon, like right between the homes here. And then they were waving at us, and we were waving back like, we don't know. This is awfully close, one homeowner said, whose security camera recorded the landing. Bob Perkins, who is chief of the ground crew that tracks the balloon, said the emergency landing was conducted after a passenger fainted during flight. She was an elderly lady, probably in her 80s, and she just passed out. Firefighters said the woman regained consciousness before landing and was examined by paramedics once the balloon touched down. She declined to be transported to hospital as a precaution. I think she felt a little embarrassed, even though she had nothing to be embarrassed about, said Greg Polno of the Huntington Fire Protection District. You know what? When you're up in that height, standing in a basket, I could see why. Beautiful view. If you've never been in a hot air balloon, honestly, it is a beautiful, beautiful view and something you should try. But don't faint. Don't faint. It's never any good. All right. Continuing on, stargazers know that August is an exciting time of the year, and it's just around the corner. And this month marks the peak of the Perseid meteor shower, which many astronomers consider the best and most consistent meteor shower. Here's everything you need to know to catch a 2020 event. The Earth passes through the tail of the Swift-Tuttle comet each summer. When this atmosphere happens, when this happens, debris from the comet burns up in our planet's atmosphere. How cool is that? Yeah. So once that happens, it results in vibrating shooting stars that are visible at night. These meteors appear to originate from the constellation Perseus, which is where the annual shower gets its name. The Perseids are famous for putting on a reliably spectacular show. When conditions are perfect, you can count up to 150 shooting stars zipping across the sky in a single hour. Most year, the Perseids peak around 60 shooting stars per hour. The Perseid meteor shower starts in mid-July, so we're almost there, and lasts through late August. This year, the event will peak in the early mornings of August 11th, 12th, and 13th. That's the old Abbotsford Air Show date back in my hometown. So this means shooting stars will be harder to spot in 2020 than in a typical year. Of course, 2020, we're getting ripped off here. We're totally getting ripped off again. You can expect to count only 40 to 50 per hour when the shower peaks. That's still an improvement over last year. Oh, isn't that impressive? When the Perseids peak coincided with nearly a full moon. Thanks, moon. New research suggests that wild hummingbirds can keep count as they forage and use their counts to keep track of the sweetest flowers. Yeah, a report in the Proceedings of the Royal Society Bee found that male rufous hummingbirds can learn which fake flower in a sequence that holds a nectar-like syrup. Only one flower in 10 held syrup, and they were able to tell. Well, why wouldn't they? They probably got smell. We needed a science report on this. I don't know. Is it just me? Is it just me? I don't know. I'm bouncing that story. California couple has a video showing a bear ripping the screen out of the window into their home to look inside. Christian Bondella said he was at home this week when the bear approached his house in Mammoth Lakes, tried to get in through the window. Bondella captured the video of the bear as he tore out the window screen and poked its head through the opening. He said family members scared away the bear, which he believes was one that came inside the house about a week earlier, but fled when his wife saw it and screamed. Bondella said his family is consulting a local bear expert on how best to keep the animal away from their home. How about locking your windows and locking your doors? I mean, I wonder if that's a thought for this guy. So this bear is likely going to take a bullet, okay? Probably, they're not going to tranquilize it, all right? It has no fear of people. Those bears get shot and killed. All because these people don't want to open or don't want to close their windows and to close their doors and lock them. How about that? Maybe that would work. I don't know. Maybe that's what I do here. Don't see any bears coming in at old Dave's SOR headquarters. Thought of the Dave happens every night at this time, where we ask a question on our Facebook and Twitter pages, then read your responses on the air because we love the audience participation around here. Today's Thought of the Dave is as follows. Why do you believe in Sasquatch? As per usual, let's start off with Marty, our favorite veteran around here. One of them, at least. He says, I believe Sasquatch is real because there have been too many sightings by credible people going back a long way, including natives, people of North America who have had interactions with them for centuries. And thank you for Pennywise. I'll have a nightmare tonight. Marty always posts a scary clown for me, trying to freak me out. Nathan, too many reports not to believe in them. 1, I believe in the possibility that Sasquatch exists. All we've had lately are stories, though. However, there are the rumors that one politician will produce one. If you vote for him, you know that the other politician has evidence and won't release it. Shanna, I believe many stories told by people who have experienced Bigfoot, even though I haven't personally. There are a vast many strange and unusual things that we humans are merely glimpsed and don't fully understand, but they still exist, whether or not we believe. Joe, Sasquatch never overstays its welcome, won't steal your shampoo or shoes. I don't know about that. Graham, the theory is sound, haven't seen one yet per se. Jules, we have seen each other. Ronnie, because he believes in me. Oh, I like that one. All right. Twin Rose Brew. Not all accounts can be fake. Mostly Majorly Tripping says, I don't believe in it at all. Johnny says, well, it's more fun to believe. I agree. All right, let's continue on here, people. Chris Jarvis, because I had an encounter in Ontario back in 1980. Yeah, that would do it. Alex, no, I don't believe. I've seen the evidence and came to the conclusion that Sasquatch exists. Joe, and Joe's Maine, because Sasquatch believes in me. Sasquatch even has a few blurry pictures of me. Well, that's nice. Very nice. Jack, I didn't believe at all until I ran across some very compelling accounts by police officers that claim to have seen them. And police officers hate being ridiculed by their fellows, so they're very unlikely to make this stuff up. Natasha, well, I have had a very up-close encounter. That shifted things from believe in to no. Gail, I believe in Sasquatch because of all the eyewitness testimonies, which hardly vary from sighting to sighting. Nikki, I've had contact. Sylvia, because I used to feel like someone was watching me when I would go into my yard. Then we thought my neighbor's cesspool was overflowing. Then my dog would come home with deer legs. And then I heard that scream that I have never heard in my life. Kevin, do I believe in Sasquatch? Heck, I'm pretty sure I'm dating one, he says. Oh my goodness. Oh, she better not see that. Paul, almost every First Nations across North America have a name for these creatures, and that says it all to me right there. Also, sat up one night at 3 a.m. in 70 Mile House listening to loud and distinctive knocking from the hill across from the property I was at. I am convinced. Oh, that's right by me, Paul. Right by me. Just down the hill. Becky, because I've seen tracks. Oh, thanks, Manitoba Becky. And tree structures way out in the middle of nowhere that clearly do not appear to be made by human hands. I am totally fascinated and terrified at the thought of actually seeing one. Dell, how many creatures that science once considered mythical have turned out to be real? The panda, giant squid come to mind. And we'll leave it right there. Thank you to everybody for participating in the Thought of the Dave on Twitter and Facebook. Thank you to Captain Shirk for doing our news up tonight right. And to Mike Paterson talking Bigfoot. We got Mr. Ron Bumblefoot Thal rocking in the background with Little Brother is Watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio, rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. Special thanks to everybody listening in at home, in your cars, at work, wherever you may be, and everyone in our chat rooms on Spreaker, YouTube, LGAB, Revolution Radio, Facebook, the Space Travelers Club on our website, and all the snarkers and snarkettes hanging out at hashtag Spaced Out Radio on Twitter. Remember, this show is copyright by Spaced Out Radio and SOR Media Ventures Limited. Thank you so much for sharing your evening with us, because together, my friends,
make a mistake, we're watching.
We own the night. Mr. Bumblefoot, we need a favor. We need you to take us home. The Woo Train may have docked for the night, but we shall ride again, everyone. Your seats are always available. Your tickets never expire. And if you want to bring a friend, guess what? We have seats for them too. Have a great night. Good night. Oh, my voice is giving out. Ah! Da, 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 da. Oh, man, I hate when that happens. Sorry about that, everyone. Oh. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do. Nobody guessed the song that I was singing earlier. Nobody. Do 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 do. Earlier in the show, I did. That didn't feel good. I'll be right back. This is just downloading. All right. I am back. Let's go like this. Download that. I'll change this to Dropbox. Change this to WeTransfer. Let's create these. Now, I was able to spit the mosquito out. At least I thought I did. I don't know if I did or not, though. I don't know. I can still feel where it hit the back of my mouth, too. Save that. I want to amplify it. Hey, Ozzy Rob, how's tomorrow looking? Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Where are these? There it is. Knew I'd find it. There we go. Now we can get this thing started. Copy, paste. Actually, I can't ask you how tomorrow looking. I gotta ask you how later today is looking. We're on the same day now. No, I think that was just echo happening on his end through Skype. I kind of heard that too. I wouldn't put too much into that woo. I mean, we can woo, but you know, we gotta woo honestly, and I think that's what that was. Could very well be, Nick. Could very well be. No, I will always like garlic. All right, is that it right there? That would be it right there. That just looks weird. That one just looks weird. Can we get a t-shirt? Woo, honestly. Yeah, I am in the process. Oh, you want a woo honestly shirt? Yeah, we can figure something out. We can definitely figure that out. I just gotta find the right artist to do that. That would suck if you saw something burst out of my chest, Joe. I'm just saying, that wouldn't probably feel very good on my end. You know? I'm just saying that probably wouldn't feel good. Last week, how did it sound to you? Did it still sound muffled? By the way, the song I was singing was He Is by Ghost. I play it for you, but I don't really have a music license, and YouTube will definitely flag me for that. I think I can do this. Hold on. A little music on here. I think this works.
Blues solos are nowhere near as hard as you think they are. All you need is to map out the fretboard, so no matter what key you're in, you can easily see where you can play.
You guys hear that? Prairie Fire. I appreciate that. Verification code, your 6-digit verification code. Verification code, people. 450-503. 450-503. All right, there you go. I turned it down. Is that better? Night Fitness Girl. Teresa, is that better? Hey, Prairie Fire, anytime, buddy. Thank you for tuning us in, man. Let's find something else by my resident guitar god. Good night, Jenny. There's your final view of it. Hey, I'm gonna set a show for Sunday afternoon. I'm getting my hair cut at 1 o'clock. I saw Yngwie Malmsteen in concert with Bumblefoot. It's 453-503, Nick. You're way off. Way off. I have to. It's going to a good cause, man. I'm going to regrow it. Okay? I'm definitely going to regrow it. I'm happy I did it. And I'm very satisfied with what's going on here. Hi, Eva. No, we're still here. All right, here we go. One of my favorites, Bumblefoot songs.
Fuck! I'm so glad to be here. I could slit my fucking wrist. This chaos is just what I need to keep me nice and pissed.
Hey, Brutus.
Fills up with acid till the veins pop in my head. I wake up every morning
Wandering
wishing
around
God
eating ice
would
cream.
strike me dead. But when the world looks at me, they see some other guy. It doesn't matter what I say, they all made up their minds. I didn't like it then, and I still don't like it now. I find the strength to smile somehow and say, I'm so glad to be here. I could jump off every bridge, but everybody's got a rope around one of my limbs. They're trying to get their piece, they keep on tearing me apart.
Rock on, Ad Gnome. Rock on, buddy. I knew you would understand. Even the main understands.
It doesn't matter what I say, they will make up their minds. I didn't like it then, I still don't like it now. I find a strength to smile somehow and say, I'm so glad to be here. I'm really glad to be here. I'm so glad to be here. I'm just really, really glad to be here. Alright.
Good night, Teresa. Oh no, it's Eva that's leaving. Good night, Eva. Everybody sing with me. I'm so glad to be here. Hey, Adnome, check out what I put up here, though, dude. Hey, I got this one out. You've seen this one. Stole it from my daughter. Let's go do it. Yeah, I will never be as good as Bumblefoot. Oh, hell. Well, where'd that pick go? I forgot that chord, Adno. Totally forgot that chord. Adno, we got to get on the phone again. So I totally forgot that chord. That's all I know. I forget that Adnome. Dude, I forget. I've been working my ass off. I haven't had time, man. That's why we got to like restart. And I know you're going to roll your eyes at me, but we got to restart, dude. I was getting good at that blues thing. Totally. This guitar is willing to work, man. Oh, well. Anyways. I'll go down to the other store tomorrow, and see if they have strings. I want to play the red one. See where we are on the old download thing. Oh, I know I suck, PBR. I totally know I suck. I'm quite okay with that. Yeah, I totally know I suck at guitar. I am determined to learn, though. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Oh, of course. I'm not worried about screwing up.
In the hallway down the staircase, slowly opening the creaking door. Someone comes along and smiles, and for a moment all is quite the norm. Avoiding all the crowd below, the sound of conversation spin. Impatiently I wait in every corner.
Oh, I know. I know you didn't say it, PBR. Totally know you didn't say it. I know I'm terrible. But I'm learning. Totally learning.
Dust on darkened floors, a gasp resists with every buried breath. Watching shadows through the cracks of light that shape and sway with every step. So carefully and quietly, and with an undetected hand. In comes a breeze, it sweeps.
Good night, Teresa. Love you, dear. Do 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 do.
In bath, kerchief the chambermaids unlock and let the daylight in. She spoke of trees and creeping things and nestled foundlings in the starlight crib. With an unsaving clinch of rhyme under the cloak is unconcealed. And all her secrets now belong forever to whom she revealed.
Let's turn it up a notch.
We built on wretched ruins, then we fell below our skeleton bones. Cowards sing each other's rhyme and anniverse of all your wicked moans. It starts off as a whisper and grows into the deepest battle cry.
Brutus, go get the guitar back. That's one done. Yeah, it's all Bumblefoot.
Sold out for sharp
up in tongues and spit into the air these creeping things.
It's all about flies flying around dog shit. That's how awesome that is. Let's see what else we can play from him here. Let's go to his channel here. He's got a new album out. Where is it here? Where's his new album? Why isn't it on here? How's it called? It's called Barefoot 2. There we go. Oh, he's just got the samplers out. I see what you did here, Mr. B. Sample.
Waste your time always searching for those wasted years.
I better not play that one. As good as it is, I can't play that one because I'll get flagged for it. Could get flagged by Iron Maiden. Don't want to be doing that. What's this one? This one I can play. I am so a great air guitarist, Renee. Yeah, that's going to be good stuff when he's finished. Good stuff. It'll be real good. All right, let's scroll that down. Where are we here on the downloads? We is done. We is done. Look at that. Another night of shows downloaded. Boom. That's good stuff. Good night, Marty. We love Marty around here. Love Marty. Love Marty. All right, guys. I'm going to wrap this thing up. Sunday, 1 p.m. Sunday, 1 p.m. All right. We will be going live and maybe a few minutes before, and we will be watching Dave get his hair cut live. You can all kick in for the experience, man. You can all kick in for the experience because this is going away. Yeah. Yeah. I'm so thrilled by it. Yeah. Yeah, it's about, 15 inches each side. Yeah. Yes. All right, guys. Take care. We'll make it all happen soon. Much love to you. And we'll talk to you this weekend when I'm getting my hair cut.